Hi everyone, this is Sushant. So guys, in today's session, we're going to learn about a RAML module in Mule 4. So basically, these are the list of topics which we are going to cover today. So the first topic is what is RAML. The second one is how you can set up a basic root file, okay, in any point platform in Design Center. What are media types? What are all HTTP methods we can use while designing RAML? Okay, what are query params, what are URI params, what and all data types are involved while designing the RAML, okay, and how you can utilize the status codes while designing the APIs, while designing the mocking service in Design Center. Guys, let's start with the first topic. What is RAML? So guys, RAML is nothing but a RESTful API modeling language. Is a YAML based modeling language that is used to represent the RESTful APIs. It describes the API in a systematic and understandable manner. Which makes it easier to manage the entire API lifecycle. So guys, basically with the help of RAML we can give structure to our APIs. How our API endpoints behaves when someone will trigger it. Okay, what and all request and response structure will be sent to the client or received by the client. Okay, so and what will be the status codes if any error occurs. Okay, what and all authentication mechanism we have in our API. So all that part we used to define with the help of this RAML, which is nothing but a RESTful API modeling language. So guys, I can say it acts like a mocking implementation of whatever we develop in our Anypoint Studio. Okay, it's like a mocking implementation. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. So guys, this is the basic root file settings which we used to do while designing the API specification in any point platform. Okay, so initially we will understand all the theoretical part. Okay, so after that we will start creating one RAML design. Okay, one API design, API specification in Design Center. Okay, and there I will show you how you can set up this basic root file settings. So for now you can see we have this RAML 1.0 version defined in the first line. In the second line you can define your API title, okay, which system you are going to consume, okay, all that things you can define in the title. Then version you can define which version of API specification it is. Protocols you can define, okay, under which protocols your APIs will get triggered. Base URIs you can define how your end system looks like, and in the last you can see a media type. Okay, the requests and the response structures, what and all media types will be there. Okay, how you are going to receive or how you are going to send the response to the user. Okay, what will be the format of that, so that you can define with the help of this media type. Okay, so here you can see it's a JSON, so what and all requests and response will happen, it will be in a JSON format. Okay guys, let's move on to the next slide. Media types. Okay, so guys, generally we used to configure two types of MIME types or media types. Those are JSON and XML. Okay, there are many media types. Okay, but generally in most of the projects I have encountered these two media types, so that's why I've written as JSON and XML. Okay, so guys, here one note is written. So media type basically defines the request and response format based on whatever media type or MIME type you are passing it. Okay, it will give a response or accept a response in the same format. Okay, so whatever format you want to use, okay, you can specify media types accordingly. Okay, if you want client to send you requests in XML format, and you want a client to receive response in XML format, you can specify media types in as application slash XML. Okay, and similarly for JSON. So let's move on to the next topic, guys. So guys, these are the mostly used HTTP methods we use to configure while designing the API specification in Design Center. So the methods are get, post, put, patch, and delete. Okay, get is nothing but to fetch the data, okay, from that server. Post is used to create the data. Put is used to create or update the data. Okay, and patch is used to update the data, and the finally delete is used to delete the data. Okay, so that was the simple okay, let's move on to the next slide. URI params and query params. Okay, so guys, URI params are basically used to identify specific resource. Okay, and whereas query param is used to filter or sort those resources. So guys, you can see these two lines here. So the first line is representing the URI param. Okay, what is the ID of employee? Okay, so with the help of that employee ID, we can fetch those employee details. So this employee ID is acting like a URI param, I can say. Okay, so but in case of query param, it acts like a filter. Okay, so you can see a question mark, and after that it is written age should be greater than 30. So whosoever employee is having age greater than 30, it will give us all the records. Okay, having employees have age greater than 30, so it acts like a filter, I can say. Okay, so that's what URI params and query params are in RAML. While designing the RAML in endpoint platform, we will see how you can uh, pass these URI params or query params. Okay, we will understand with the help of one practical uh, use case. Okay, so guys, let's move on to the next slide. So this is same, so you can see in the URI params we have specified like slash, and there is an endpoint name foods, and after that there is a ID. So it is used to identify a particular resource. Okay, on the basis of ID you can see. And similarly in the second endpoint it is used to specify a particular resource with the help of this name. So name and ID are acting like a URI params here. Okay, and this is how we used to define in the RAML in the design center. So whenever you write RAML, so make sure your indentation should be correct. Okay, I will show you while designing how you can uh, design, how you can write these endpoints in indented way. Okay, because indentation is very important while designing the RAML. Okay, if you have wrong indentation it might give errors. Okay, okay, so here are the query params. So guys, that's how we used to specify it: question mark, okay, field name and string. Okay, and you have to give it like query params. Okay, what and all query params we have: name and owner name. Okay, so whosoever will query with the help of these two fields, it will give us the records, okay, for that particular user. We will understand more while designing the RAML, okay, in endpoint platform. For now I'm covering some theoretical part, okay, which will be helpful for you so whenever I will design the RAML. Okay, so guys, data types. Okay, so data types, guys, basically used to define what and all requests and response structures you are going to get and you are going to provide to the client. Okay, so let's say here you can see we have specified type as object. Okay, so here this data type is object. Okay, and under this object we have different fields: ID, name, owner name. Okay, so these three fields, so this ID is having data type as integer. So whatever a request receive, it should be an object having ID as integer value. If it's a string value, it will give us errors that hey, data type is not matching. Okay, so in the next field is name. So guys, it should be string. Okay, so they have specified the data type as a string, and it is always required. So if they do not pass it, if the client do not pass it, or if the data type doesn't matches, it will throw the error that hey, data type is not matching at all. Okay, so that's how we used to specify the data types. Okay, third one is owner name. So this is not required field. Either the client can pass it or not, it's their choice. Okay, and its type is string. So if even if they do not pass it, it will not give any errors. But if they pass it and the type is not matching, in that case it will throw the error that hey, the type should be string, it's not, it should not be an integer. Okay, so guys, that's what the data types are. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Status codes. Okay, so guys, here it is written, HTTP response status codes indicates whether a specific HTTP request has been successfully completed. Okay, so you can see there are multiple codes here from 100 to 599. So each code is having its own purpose. Okay, so the codes have from 200 to 299 represents the successful responses. So if client got 200 requests after hitting your API, okay, and they got 200 as a status code, so they will consider it as a successful request, successful response. Okay, but let's say if they got a status code as 500 or any code between 500 or to 599, so it will be considered as a server error responses. So client will say that hey, it's an error, it's a server error. Okay, what and all APIs we have called, it is giving a 500 or 502, so it's basically a server error. So similarly guys, different status codes having different meanings. Okay, between 400 to 499 it is considered as client error responses. 300 to 399 it is considered as redirection messages. Okay, 100 to 199 it is considered as informational responses. So different status code has different meanings. So these are the list of status codes which are mostly used. Okay, most of the responses, they generally have these status codes most of the time. Okay, most of the time. So in my case 90% I have encountered that these are the only status codes which we use to throw. Okay, whenever a client hits our APIs. So 200 if the request is successful, 201 if something is created. Okay, if let's say a user got created in the database. Okay, 202 is there, accepted, partial information 203, no response. Okay, if we do not provide any response or any content, it will be considered as 204, 204, no content. Bad request, if we provide some request that is not matching the criteria which we have defined inside the RAML, or some data type is not matching, in that case it will throw bad request. Unauthorized, if whatever authentication mechanisms or authentication client ID and client secret we have configured for our APIs, if those are not matching with whatever client ID and client secret client is passing, so in that case it will throw 401 unauthorized, that hey, client ID and client secret are not matching with whatever we client ID and secret we have created in our application. So please specify the correct client ID and client secret so that your request is successful. Otherwise it will give unauthorized 401. Okay, and the last one is payment required 402. Okay, so I hope you understood everything about the status code, guys. Okay, we will also configure these status codes while designing RAML in Anypoint platform design center. Okay, how you can configure these different status codes, okay, for each and every API endpoint. Okay, so guys, let's move on to the Anypoint platform and start developing the API specification. Okay, and let's understand all these concepts in a practical way. Okay, let's go, guys. So guys, we are in a design center Anypoint platform. So you can see I have an Anypoint platform account. Okay, so guys, in design center you have to click on this create button. Okay, click on this new specification, new API specification. So here you need to specify your project name. Okay, so here I will give it a name like MS user system API. Okay, So whenever you give any project name, your naming convention should be good. Okay. Okay, RAML 1.0 is the version. Guys, because we have selected RAML version as 1.0, so we got the version as 1.0 here. Okay. So like we discussed previously in the presentation, we will see how you can set up a basic root file. Okay, so this is the root file of whatever API specification we have created. Okay, so in this root file we will specify some basic settings. Okay, so here you can see we have a RAML version already specified, title we have already specified as this API specification name. So in next line we will describe it. Okay, to perform this API will perform, we can write this API will perform all the user related activities. In bracket you can give it like get user, create user, okay, update user details. Okay, so anything you can like write based on whatever API specification or whatever system you are trying to access. Okay, so description I have given here. Now in the next line I will give a version, which version of API specification it is. So this is first version, v1, because we have just created it. Okay, so you will write as version v1. Okay, so guys, in the next line we will specify the base URI. So I will write like HTTP. So you can specify the host name also, but here in this case I will just specify the local. It doesn't matter whatever, you can give any base URI. Okay, but it should look in a format. Okay, whatever your system URL is having. So you can give it like localhost. Okay guys, so one thing I missed here, let me put slash localhost. No, I will write 8081 slash API. Okay, slash which version of API it is. Okay, so I will pick version dynamically. Okay, because we have a previously defined version here, so I will specify the version in this manner so that it will pick dynamic way. Okay, so and in the last I will specify the system name, which is user, because we are calling user system, so in the last I have given as user. So that's how we have specified the base URI, guys. So if I click next, now we will specify the protocols. Okay, what and all protocols, okay, we need to follow while triggering the API endpoints which we are going to design in this API specification. Okay, so you can specify protocols like this, protocols, or you can just simply write like square brackets HTTP comma HTTPS. Okay, so guys, in the right hand side in a documentation section you can see it has already written that supported protocols are HTTP and HTTPS. So whatever we have written in the code, it has documented it automatically. Okay, so API title it has documented, version it has documented, description it has documented, base URI, and then last supported protocols, guys. Okay, so I hope you understood how you can define your base root file settings. Okay, so guys, now we will start designing the API endpoints. Okay, API specification. So I will start with one of the most what I can say basic endpoint. So the endpoint name is health check. Okay, so health check endpoint is nothing but it will check the system health, whether the system is up and running or not. Okay, so I will write it like health semicolon. Okay, which method you want to give. So it's a get method. We want to fetch the system's health. Okay, so this is just the basic, okay, basic endpoint structure which everyone uses in most of their projects. In upcoming videos, I will show you how you can create some common collections so that you not need to repeat all these lines again and again for different API endpoints. So this is just the basic part which I'm going to show you for your understanding. But in upcoming videos, we will also understand some of the advanced concepts. How you can like commonly specify the some of the collection. You can create common collections, okay, so that you not need to repeat these get, post, like these mime types again and again. Okay, so let me show you. So here you can see a method as get, because it's a health check. We need to fetch the health of the system, and then we will give the description what this API endpoint will perform. Fetch, we will write fetch health of the system. Okay, simply. Now we will specify what and all responses we will get. So you guys, you can simply write responses. Okay, so response is 200. Basically response should be 200, and what will be the body of that response basically. So we'll write it like body. Okay, it should be application slash JSON first of all, mime type, and then what will be the example. So you can specify example here. Okay guys, so it is giving some errors. Let me see. So let's see if we write responses like this. Okay, so now we will need to specify some example here. So you can write hash include exclamation include. Okay, so you can see it is already populated here, and now here you can specify that file path where your example is available. So I will create one example here. So because the mime type is JSON, so I will provide one JSON example. So I will write health check response example dot JSON. Okay, so I will simply create it. Okay guys, so here you can specify JSON, okay, structure. So we will give it like so. Okay, status, which used to determine the status of that system which we are calling. So we'll simply write up and running. Hey, the system is up and running successfully. Okay, so whenever you will hit this health check endpoint, so if that system is up and running, or if your app is up and running, you will get this response. Hey, your app is up and running. Okay, so guys, similar file you can copy the path like this, go to the RAML file and paste it here simply. Okay, semicolon was missing. So guys, you can see in the documentation section this endpoint has been documented successfully. So if you click on this endpoint, so you got this status up and running, that hey, your application is up and running. Media type is application slash JSON because we have specified application slash JSON. So guys, indentation you have to, okay, you have to give indentation in a proper way. Okay, so if you give indentation like this, so you can see it has got, you have got errors. So your indentation should be proper like this, and then 200, then body, then application slash JSON, and then under that example. So this is the most basic way of designing the RAML. Okay, you can improve it by creating some common collections so that you not need to repeat this 200 body application slash JSON example JSON. Obviously examples you need to give, but you not need to repeat these lines again and again. You can specify some resource types. You can create some common collections, okay, which will perform the job of these lines. Okay, and you can just simply specify those collection names or libraries. Okay, and you can utilize them commonly in a reusable way. Okay, so guys, in the next part we will understand how you can create those common collections. We will create some more endpoints also in the next part. So those endpoints are let me show you. So those endpoints are, guys, uh, user, fetch user, okay, and then we will create user, okay, we will update user, and guys, in the last we will delete user. So these are the four endpoints we will design in the next part, and we will also see how you can create the common collections so that you not need to repeat these lines again and again. You can reuse that collection, okay, so that you not need to repeat these lines again and again. So this was the like basic of whatever how you can start designing your RAML. This was just the basic of that. Okay, in next part we will understand more, okay, how you can utilize resource types, okay, how you can create common collections, libraries. Okay, so thanks everyone, thanks for watching this session. Okay, see you soon, bye guys.